I am Kirsten Peek. I am a semi-retired high school English and civics teacher, world history, government, English literature, composition, all kinds of things I used to teach in high school. And I sort of ran away to have my best life. I figured out how to do that. And it's about writing books and thinking big problem solution kinds of things is what I'm doing in my best life. And as part of that, I have discovered the smallest little piece of information that I'm trying to get out to the world, because I believe we are in the middle of a huge political betrayal. I believe that the President of the United States, yes, the one and only President, Donald J. Trump, is betraying everyone. I believe that he is betraying his voters, his own base, his own friends and people that have stood up with him. And as the policies go through and as the days march on, he has been betraying his loyal, faithful people. And I saw this coming. So in the book, your political identity, I believe, has been manipulated and tied to someone who did not really have your best advantage in his heart. And I'm sorry that that happened. And it reminds me of like my girlfriend who ran off with this guy who promised her the world. And of course, it didn't go that way. He betrayed her. He hurt her really badly. And then that's hard because I was her friend and saw it coming. And yet, I had to hold her hand and kind of get her back to being strong and back to feeling like she could figure out stuff. And it really shook her whole identity. And so I think that that's really what's happening. And so, when he turned, so I wrote the book. The thing that I get at is that when we do a values clarification in my high school classroom, and really it's about when we read novels and we read stories or we read about biographies and we read about real life people that exist, and you talk about their character traits and you talk about their personalities and you talk about their values. And yes, I believe that respect and truth are the foundations of our American democracy. And that the whole idea that we want to live together in peace is pretty much the American dream. And that that's based on it having respect and truth. And the due process of court is based on the ability to have the truth mean something and have a process to follow that judges that. So I'm here tonight. We're talking about your political identity and what would you do if it's like my girlfriend and her stupid boyfriend ditched her because he was manipulating and he was all about him to begin with. He was just playing along. So my friend, again, I'm like, sweetheart, let's get back to this respecting ourselves. Let's start this with ourselves first. Because as I put here on my chart, I have my magic wand. As I put here on my chart, respect with ourselves. Yeah, respecting ourselves. We deserve the best. We deserve people who are honorable in our lives. We have to be it to have it, so then we have to put it out there. And as I was explaining earlier, if you hold back respect and say somebody has to earn it, then aren't you being judgmental? And aren't you being difficult? And aren't you putting up that wall and that cloak of difficulty? And especially with it as it relates to yourself. You were born with respect. I think you should keep it. So to ourselves here, yes, give respect to yourself. And the same thing with the truth. If you're not being honest with yourself, if you're not really honoring your inner voice and your inner beliefs and your compass here with truth, your truth, if you're like, yeah, that's all right, yeah, well, it's just a little lie, it's just a little that it's a slippery slope. If you start one little lie, it's going to become a bunch of them. And so why do we do this? It's because it's going to help you have direction, have focus, have some balance in here to hold on to it. Because when the world is going up and down and crazy, it's good to have this balance. And that it's a foundational, this is something at the core, at the very beginnings. So I want to touch on this one first and explain again why we have to start with the stop, focus, center, use that compass to really figure out where are you, because we're running around. And so if this is a betrayal, if again, in this whirlwind that I'm trying to help problem solve, okay? So I have a process. I was a high school teacher, as I've mentioned, and actually this is the Nobel Peace Institute's guidebook that I picked up on vacation a few months ago. And the guidebook was like the instructions for the teacher to run the class, which I knew how to do because I run it in my classroom. And it's about the foundations and the heroic thinking. This is heroic. You have to be brave. You have to have courage. And as I say here, if you do it with yourself, then you've got to start doing it with other people. And this starts to multiply. So you're going to start getting positive energy going, and you're starting to get good stuff happening because you are like a superhero gathering your superpowers, right? Right. So the superpower stuff and the hero thinking and the traditions. So in Stoic classrooms and in this most traditional debate format, which is as old as time, thousands of years old,